Let's, there we go. That's probably going to be a little better. All right. There we go. So again, this is Ringside Geeks. We're doing Ringside Reaction for NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. My name's Dave. We got John in the middle and Tom all the way at the end there. There it is. And the voice that you'll be able to hear, but the face you cannot see, is Monroe.
That's me.
There she is. And hopefully we'll get some people to join in the chat as we go along through the show. I'll try to keep it to about a half hour. And some of us will be back tomorrow for the Royal Rumble. Not quite sure how many of us yet, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. But tonight we had NXT TakeOver Philadelphia style. A lot of ECW chants, as you'd expect, and a nice little video package that opened up with Paul Heyman introducing us to the city of brotherly love, or the city that loves to hate sports things.
Great video package.
Yeah, but the first match of the night was the tag team title match. First of all, I'd like to say, going into this event, I know we previewed it yesterday. I didn't really get to ask you guys what was your excitement level for tonight. Good Lord, that's loud.
Oh, I'm very excited. It's NXT TakeOver. This is usually the best shows that they can do.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Yeah, it was right in the middle somewhere. I haven't been following NXT as much, so I think that probably had a lot to do with it. But NXT takeovers always deliver, so I mean the excitement's always there for it for sure.
Yeah, Monroe.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I wasn't too excited about a couple of things on this card, but we can always trust a takeover, and they didn't disappoint this time either.
That's quite true. All right, so the first match of the night was the Undisputed Era versus the Authors of Pain tag team title match. What did you guys think? What'd you think, Monroe, of the match overall?
I thought it was a really good tag match. I honestly forgot that this match was on the card, and yeah, because they really haven't done much as far as build go for this match, so I completely forgot about it. But and I'm not a huge fan of Authors of Pain either, but this match I thought was very, very good. Surprisingly, because I didn't expect it to be that great, but yeah, it was good.
All right. John, what'd you think?
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad. AOP held their own, which I was impressed by. I think they're definitely improving. I think it was a solid match with a solid story. The right team won in the Undisputed Era, and it was a good way to open the show, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom?
That was a good match, and I disagree. I think it's been a great build because this has been going back to War Games. So this is two teams that had to face each other, and I thought it was a pretty good match. The great sells. I think Fish and O'Reilly, they work so well together. It's amazing.
Very true. Yep.
Yes.
All right, yeah, I thought it was a good...
years of experience worth right there. That's what that is.
True story.
Yeah, they need to talk that up a little more about the history of those guys working together, all the quick tags and all the double teams and everything like that. They came out looking good. I think they took a good beating from Authors of Pain,
Sure, yeah.
and got away with a quick victory. And then they showed the signs of the defeat later during the Adam Cole match. They were all wrapped up, and good way to continue that, to sell that. All right, let's talk about the next match on the card as the Undisputed Era do retain their titles, which I think is the right call there, booking-wise. We had a knockout challenge, I guess. It started off as what it seemed like it was going to be. Cassius Ono versus the Velveteen Dream. Man, I wanted to like this one way more than I ended up liking it. It was kind of a letdown. There were a lot of botches in this match. I don't know if it was communication-wise or just trying to do too much. I'm not sure, but what did you guys think, Tom?
I agreed. Bunch of botches. I don't know if I want to blame it on Cassius Ohno, but the last great match I saw Velveteen Dream in was a show stealer. So I don't know if it was on Ohno or just Dream having an off night, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah, what'd you think, John?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of like an oil and water situation. The two just didn't seem to mix well. And I think the match was kind of doomed from the start because there was little to no build. Unlike the first match, this one I think was just kind of thrown on there. So I'm not sure how much these guys had wrestled each other in the past, and that may have contributed to it. I think Velveteen Dream has a ton of potential, but he's definitely still learning. I mean, he's only, 22 years old, so he's not all there yet. And, Cassius Ohno, he is a little cumbersome, I guess to say. So I don't know.
That's putting it politely.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a disappointing performance from both guys, but there were definitely outside circumstances that influenced that. So
yeah. What do you think, Monroe?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that was said here. I don't know if it was just miscommunication or what. They didn't mesh very well. I mean, there were some spots in the match that were good, but for the most part, it was a letdown for sure. And I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if we can blame those guys or what, because it was kind of thrown together last minute or whatever. But still, it was kind of a letdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as wrestling matches go, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but yeah, it seemed a bit clumsy.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. So, all right. The NXT women would get the showcase next, and I didn't notice it during the tag match, but I noticed it here. They're doing the weird spotlight effect that they do in the WWE 2K18 game when you have a title match. Like the lights go out and they have this like UFO style abduction spotlight comes down on the ring. It was kind of weird, but they did that for this Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. I didn't expect much from this match. I mean, obviously I knew what Ember would bring to it. I just wasn't expecting a whole lot from Shayna. And that's kind of what we got. It was a very slow, kind of boring match. It told a good story, but it took too long, and I don't know. I didn't like the way they rolled it out. What'd you think, Monroe?
I didn't care for this match at all. I thought it was a huge letdown, but it was exactly what I expected. I've seen Baszler wrestle before, and she was not very good then, and she's still not very good now. She's obviously very limited, and it showed against someone who is awesome like Ember Moon. I just didn't care. I mean, half of the match was just one spot, and I just, storytelling or not, storytelling doesn't make a match great. We need some type of wrestling. We need something else other than us telling the story. I didn't care for it very much. I think it may probably be the worst women's match on a TakeOver ever. Honestly, it was that bad.
Right, and I guess what I mean by storytelling is it helps. I think it helps Ember. She looks strong coming out of it, at making the win out of, I guess, kind of surmounting such insurmountable odds. Being dominated with that arm all match, I guess. I don't know. Then still getting the win. But what'd you guys think? What'd you think, John?
Yeah, they kind of booked themselves into a corner with this one because Ember Moon, this is her first title defense, and, she couldn't beat Asuka before, and now she's walking into another monster. It's tough. She's in a tough position, and you don't want to book Shayna weak either because she is the monster. So what I noticed was there was a match last night that got a lot of praise. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Minoru Suzuki for the IC title, and this story was very similar to the one that was told in that match. However, the difference was everything aside from the arm work in this match was not very good. It was very slow. It was almost disjointed in a way, so I wasn't a big fan of it. The finish was great for Ember. However, I think it made Shayna look bad because how does an MMA fighter not have a girl in an armbar for that long and not break her arm? I mean, right. This girl is a legit shoot fighter. I'm sorry, but she could have easily pulled her arm off of her body if she wanted to, and I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I think it was a disappointment for me because of that. I almost think that, like I said, there was really no good way to do this. But I guess Ember does come out looking strong. I don't know where they go from here, though.
Yeah. Deep sigh from Monroe. What do you think, Tom?
I think they both come out looking pretty strong. I think Ember didn't get a lot of spots in that match. I want to say there was two. She hit her move, and there maybe been the Eclipse, and then there may have been another
bottom rope dive
spot. Yeah, that was it. The bottom rope dive, which was fantastic. But other than that, it was a Shayna Baszler showcase where she was just going to show how much of a bully / badass she can be and work that arm. But that's where I thought it drug out. It was just too long. You spent too much time, and it was boring to me. You spent too much time on the arm bar. But can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? No, I can't get it. And then the roll-up, which was great. But neither one of them comes out looking any weaker or stronger, in my opinion, because Ember was able to, beat the big bad bully, and the big bad bully got rolled up in a quick finish. So I don't think this is done. And of course, the shenanigans afterwards where she choked her out. And I said this last night. I don't think they're done, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more.
Yeah, I did not want to see more. I was done with that match pretty quick. Too many resting holds that went nowhere.
Right.
It was like a really boring MMA match.
I would like to see more. I think I would like to see a little bit more Ember. Because it was slow. Ember's matches aren't slow. They're high octane. They're moving around. And I think Shayna, maybe just what her style is, brought that down.
Again,
it's because I don't think it's because of the style. I think it's because she is limited.
Right.
See, there's a difference. Like someone like Kyle O'Reilly, who is very technical in the ring. You can put him against a high flyer, someone that's similar to Ember Moon, and it will work well because the way he can transition his submissions in between the high spots or whatever. Shayna doesn't have that knowledge or ability. That's where the issue is. And another thing too, yeah, it was kind of a showcase for her. I don't care for matches that only further storylines or stories, especially when you have a weekly show. That's what the weekly show is for. Don't have someone who has worked this hard for the title, have their first title shot on a TakeOver, and have a match only to further a story. No, you do the story part on the weekly show, and then we have the big spot or the big whatever, the ending at the TakeOver.
Well, yeah.
And it really annoyed me. I didn't care for this match at all.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just want to say I don't think any of us would think that, submissions are boring. I think, like Chris Benoit, there's been numerous wrestlers throughout history who have been submission-based wrestlers who are fun to watch in the ring.
Absolutely.
Kurt Angle in his prime was a lot of submissions, but he was quick, seamless on the mat, and I think that there's a difference there because Shayna was lumbering around, and I think that's what kind of took it away from it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I agree. All right, let's move on to the next match, which was Aleister Black versus Adam Cole.
Baby.
There it is. Thank you. All right, Extreme Rules match. All right, we talked about it on the podcast previewing this show. We thought this might be a show stealer. What did everybody think? John, what'd you think?
I thought it was a solid hardcore match, solid nod to ECW. I think it was largely a spot fest, not a lot of wrestling in between. They did some really unique stuff, which I thought was a lot of fun. I think it was interesting that Cole took another loss. Really did not expect that. I think the best thing on the show, it was the best thing on the show up to that point. I thought it was a pretty solid hardcore match. Yeah.
I thought this one kind of stole the show up to that point.
Right.
I don't know if Adam Cole has a spine after that match. He took a lot of back spots.
He really did.
And he cut up his thumb pretty good, it looked like. Or his hand got cut up pretty bad at one point. And, there was a lot of spots, but Extreme Rules match, we figured it would be something similar to that. Not much wrestling, a lot of hard spots, a lot of chairs, and the chant for the tables. Can that end? Like, I really don't care. I don't care about table spots unless it's the Dudleys, right? I mean, who cares? Hit the announce table. That's what I want to see. That's the big one. What'd you think, Monero?
It was a good match. I thought it was, especially in the beginning, it kind of dragged a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And it took me a little minute to get into it, but for the most part, I thought it was a solid match.
All right. Tom?
I'll agree with John. Up to this point, this was the best match of the night. And I thought they sold it so well with the Adam just went straight for a chair. And I'm like, I love this. Let's go. You want to be extreme? Let's be extreme. And that shot on the chairs, I mean, I don't know how nobody's not hurt doing something like that. It was crazy. And I think, Dave, you said, you normally got to pay somebody to make an adjustment like that. And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. But, and yeah, the blood coming from his hand, I was like, oh, I hope they don't stop this match. I hope this is not going to be another Samoa Joe where, oh, let me stop the... It did.
All right, we're kind of losing Tom there, so I'll talk over him. All right, yeah. I didn't think I was ever afraid of them stopping this match. I think they needed to sooner than they did clean him up because it clearly was affecting him. It was kind of becoming a distraction, but they got to him eventually, and that was fine. All right, well, let's get into the meat and potatoes, I guess. The main event was Andrade Cien Almas was Zelina Vega versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. We had no doubts that this would be a good match with both these guys involved. Little did we know that it could be a match of the year candidate. I don't know. I was geeked up for this one. I was marking out quite a bit. There was a lot of good spots in this match. A lot of good storytelling. Some predictable things. Candice LeRae getting involved. We kind of saw that coming, and it was cool when it happened. But before we get into it, we could also talk about who was in the crowd tonight. As we like to speculate for TakeOver events, they tend to drop some people in the crowd. And this time it was all the people that were signed, and so we saw War Machine, Maria Menounos, who is going to do ring announcing for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Then we saw Ricochet as well, and EC3 made his NXT debut, so to speak.
Called it. I called it.
We did not see Tessa Blanchard, which I called. That we would not see her, which is unfortunate. Anyway. I only say that because Candice LeRae would then be at ringside and in Johnny's locker room, having newly signed with NXT as well. All right, let's dig into it. Monroe, start us off. What'd you think?
Man, this match blew me away. Let me just say, I really like Gargano. He's probably like the best babyface in the company right now, and he is just so good. But man, Andrade is incredible. I mean, what a heel he is. He's so talented. Oh, man. And this match only confirmed it for me. He's so good. Wow. I'm so happy he retained. I like Gargano. I get it. But, man, I'm so happy he retained. But, yeah, this match blew me away. It's definitely a match of the year candidate. Without a doubt.
32.5-minute match. I was not expecting it to go that long.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you think, Tom?
I have January 27th, 2018 as our first candidate for Match of the Year. It was fantastic, start to finish. Johnny sells so well and almost shoots so well. I knew this was going to be great. We talked about it, how it just had to work. And just some of the spots on there, it was like, oh my God, how was he still alive? But yes, definitely Match of the Year candidate for me. And the end, well, we'll see what's coming.
Yes, this is for you, the first Match of the Year candidate. I'm sure it's not for everybody.
Yes.
On this.
For me, it is.
Yeah. What'd you think, John?
Okay, so I have a lot to say. Before we get into the main event, I just I noticed a few things. First and foremost, there was excessive camera cutting throughout the night that I did not like from the production crew. It was WWE-esque, and that was not... I've never noticed that before in an NXT show. I didn't care for that very much. Yeah. And also, I think Nigel not being there on commentary was a definite minus, because Percy and even Morrow at times was just not on point tonight. When Morrow's spitting facts, he's very good, but I don't know if play-by-play is where he should be. And then Johnny Gargano, they weighed him in at 199. I'm not sure, maybe more like 169. He was very small in comparison to Andrade Cien Almas. That's all I'm going to say. But all right, the match itself, absolutely incredible. Andrade Cien Almas is clearly a student of the game. Brilliant heel work. And Johnny Gargano is just so fun to watch. These are the kind of matches that I feel have been missing from NXT for so long, the main events that drew me into the product in the first place. Mm-hmm. And it's quite frustrating, in my opinion, that we may never get to see these guys have this kind of match again once they reach the main roster. Gargano basically ended up doing a greatest hits compilation of like every move I've ever seen in New Japan, which I thought was really cool, especially towards the end. And I think that as it went on, Almas really stood out to me, just as the complete package, the look, the character, in the ring, everything about Almas to me, especially with Zelina Vega as the heater, they are awesome. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see what they do with them on the main roster. Do not mess this up, please. I think at the end, it may have dragged a little bit for me, and they may have done almost too much. It kind of felt like Okada Omega in that sense, where it was almost too many moves for me, but it was far and away the best thing on the card. Definitely one of the best matches I've seen all year, and I think that WWE is going to have a hard time finding a better match all year. So then of course we had the big thing at the end, the thing.
Which could be your next match of the year candidate out of WWE.
Yep.
I think a lot of things added to this match. Give credit where credit's due, and you brought it up, John. Zelina Vega was amazing in this match.
Yeah, she was.
Just yelling from ringside, and then every time she hits that move, it's perfection. And then you knew it was building towards that moment when Candice would jump the rail and just
we called it.
Go bananas on her, and it was fantastic to watch Zelina heel style run out of the arena.
Yeah.
Just,
that was great, man. That
just
was so great.
Great. Adding already to the character of Candice LeRae before she even gets a match. And, maybe potentially getting those two in the ring together would be cool, because I'd love to see Zelina get some ring time. So that would be nice. That'd be nice to see. And then, of course, you thought it might end there, because why not? It could just fine going off air like that, giving Johnny a standing ovation, and then go off the air. But no, they pulled the TakeOver Chicago, put the logo on the screen, and then the crowd gave it away with a loud boo. And there he is, the man who hasn't shaved since we last saw him on NXT. Tommaso Ciampa striking the back of Gargano with that crutch, almost hitting Candice LeRae with that crutch too.
Almost.
And then just the death stare, the psycho killer stare down on Gargano. And then dragging the crutch away as he walks away.
That's awesome.
Just fantastic. A good build to whatever's next, which hopefully is TakeOver New Orleans for WrestleMania. Gargano and Ciampa at TakeOver New Orleans. A nice good build. Time to build. Time for Ciampa to get fully 100%. Sad that Gargano probably won't get another title shot soon. Because again, I didn't draw Cien Almas Johnny Gargano 4 would be great. But
definitely.
Two for the title. All right, let's wrap things up here. Letter grade for TakeOver Philadelphia. What do you give it, Tom?
I'm gonna go with a B. I think it started off slow, but the last two matches kind of saved it for me.
Okay, John, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a letter grade. That's tough. I'm gonna go C+. I think it was a little too slow at first. Probably one of the weaker undercards of a TakeOver, but the main event really saved that show. It was awesome.
All right, Monroe.
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk about Ciampa coming out either, and I just want to say, I kind of wish he didn't come out, only because we were all expecting it. I think everybody was expecting him to show up somehow, and I kind of wish he didn't.
Yeah.
And then if he was going to show up, maybe he's not ready yet, but I was hoping he would do a little more than just that. I mean, I guess that's enough. Mm-hmm. Too much would have been overkill. I get it. But me personally, I would have liked to have seen more. Honestly, I wish he would have attacked Candice LeRae. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted him to like throw her through something. She's used to spots like that, you know.
Like,
so
I'd love to just.
I know that's a stretch, but
yeah.
I would like to have seen that. But anyway,
they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, letter grade for me is probably B-.
All right. Did you guys want to chime in about Ciampa? I'm sorry.
I would agree with Monroe. Fell a little flat for me. Because we had hyped up that for so long.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel like it really had that impact. I'm sorry. I know that long term the feud's not gonna suffer at all from this because these guys have so much history and it's just there. It's not gonna affect it negatively. But as far as like that feeling when it happened, it wasn't there for me. I wasn't like, oh my god, I didn't freak out. It just kind of happened, and I was like, oh, I kind of thought that might happen. Especially with the crowd too. The crowd too was not too hot for that moment, which I was a little disappointed by.
But I will say, we talked about this the other night. I think this needed to happen tonight. Ciampa did not look very healthy. He was very walking around on that leg, very gingerly.
Yeah, he did not
maybe
look
it's but to me it had to happen tonight because this needs to happen on WrestleMania weekend. It does not have to go into WrestleMania and then let it happen to then you're going to build it to SummerSlam. No, this is something we need to see built right now until WrestleMania to have this happen at WrestleMania weekend.
Can it happen on WrestleMania?
I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened.
Card. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I wish that match was on the WrestleMania card instead of NXT. Like, that would be awesome. Like, let those guys showcase that feud or whatever on the big show. But
what's gonna be terrible is this is gonna happen maybe at the WrestleMania weekend. How can the main event match that? I want to see how that's gonna go because tonight the main event stole the show.
Yeah.
I want to see Gargano and Ciampa, and then what's the main event going to be? Because these guys are gonna have to beat each other. They're gonna have to battle, and the main event. This could just better a main event.
That's the question now is who's next for Almas, and I imagine it's probably going to be some kind of 4-way or maybe a 3-way for the title with maybe Cole and Aleister Black.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think you're onto something there.
Yep.
Is my guess, yeah. So we'll have to wait and see.
I think so.
Because they're going to want to stack that card with as much talent as they can for WrestleMania weekend, and it's TakeOver, so they rarely let you down. So. My grade would be.
It's too early. It's too early for EC3 or Ricochet, any of them, to be in this title picture.
No, we were not even going to talk about them, but you had to bring them up. Okay. Because you got to get that EC3 in there. All right.
You have to.
Skype can't hear. Okay. My letter grade would be a B+. So, all right. That being said, that's going to do it for us tonight, because clearly Tom's having Skype issues, and we need to get out of here. We will be back tomorrow, some of us, all of us, who knows, we'll see, probably not all of us, but talk about the Royal Rumble. Hopefully that's as good a show, if not better, maybe, who knows, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some good surprises, we'll wait and see. But in the meantime, you can find Monroe yelling at wrestlers on Twitter at
EFDS_ENT.
And yelling at computer screens on her YouTube channel.
Eye of the Storm Entertainment. Let me point out real quick, they just put a picture of Ciampa with a shirt on the back. It says, "This is my moment." I did not know it said that. That's awesome.
The front was pretty creepy looking. If you want to hit up John on social media, you can do so by going to
@XJohnNeve, Instagram and Twitter.
And Tom, people want to talk to you.
If people want to talk to me, I'm at skids_world on the Twitter machine.
Almost made it all the way through. Skids_world is what he said.
Yeah.
All right.
What I said.
Well, you cut out, so you didn't know that. That's why I fixed it for you. We are at Ringside Geeks on all of the social medias. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss one of these live streams. We'll be back again tomorrow. Hopefully more of you will join in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, have a good night, and we'll see you later.
See ya. Push Oni Lorcan.